In the bustling heart of Lagos, where the air smells of roasted corn and the hum of motorbikes never sleeps, lived a man named Adewale. He was not just any man, his name could open doors in boardrooms, and his fortune built houses that touched the clouds. But deep in his heart, a question refused to rest. Does my wife truly love me for who I am? Or only for what I have? This thought haunted him in the quiet hours of the night, when the city's chaos faded and the silence of wealth felt heavier than the noise of poverty. His wife, Yewanda, was the envy of many, graceful, intelligent, and breathtakingly beautiful. Together, they were the perfect picture of success. Yet, behind Adewale's smile at charity galas and business lunches, lived an unshakable fear: if I lost it all, would she still be here? It wasn't that Yewanda had done anything to betray him. She was loyal in words, affectionate in public, and never missed an opportunity to praise him. But Adewale had seen enough in life to know that loyalty can sometimes be bought, and love can sometimes be rented, paid for by the comfort of a soft life. One rainy evening, as the city lights reflected on the wet streets of Victoria Island, Adewale made a decision that would change everything. If the truth was hiding, he was going to drag it out into the open, even if it meant risking the very thing he was trying to protect. One quiet evening, he sat with his childhood friend, Bobaton, a wise man whose simple clothes carried more dignity than gold. "My son," Bobaton said after listening, "a goat that loves only the hand that feeds, may wander away when that hand is empty. If you truly wish to know her heart, hide your goat, and see if she will still dance." Adewale leaned back, letting those words settle like rain on thirsty soil. Bobaton had always spoken in proverbs, not to confuse, but to make a man think beyond his comfort. Adewale could see the firelight flicker in his old friend's eyes, reflecting the kind of truth that age and experience sharpen. The small room smelled faintly of burning firewood and freshly brewed zobo. Outside, the Lagos night was alive with distant laughter, rattling downfall buses, and the occasional call of a hawker selling roasted plantain. Yet in that moment, all Adewale could hear was the echo of Bobaton's wisdom. "Hide my gold," he repeated under his breath. The idea sounded both dangerous and necessary. Could Yewanda love him if the tailored suits, luxury cars, and sprawling mansion vanished? Could she see the man when the money was gone? Bobaton poured him a calabash of palm wine, his weathered hands steady despite the years. "Test her not with words, my son, but with life. A woman's love is like the roots of a tree, some go deep into the soil, others cling only to the surface. You must see which yours is before the storm comes." Adewale nodded slowly. Somewhere in the quiet of that night, a decision began to take shape. Adewale decided. The next week, the city awoke to shocking news: the mighty Adewale had lost everything overnight. Newspapers screamed of bad investments. Whispers filled the markets. And Jennifer, his wife, heard the news too. At first, she wore the mask of sorrow. She sighed when people asked about him. She said she was praying. Her eyes shimmered with a sadness that seemed almost real. Friends and family gathered around her, offering comfort, and she accepted every kind word with grace. But soon, the cracks began to show. Jennifer stopped answering his calls. Messages went unread. When they met, her smiles felt distant, almost rehearsed. She laughed more with her wealthy friends at lavish parties, where talk of loss was replaced by the clink of glasses and expensive perfume. The neighbors whispered, and the old folks shook their heads knowingly. As the elders say, when the yam barn is empty, some wives begin to dream of plantain. Adewale watched it all quietly, pain digging deeper than any loss of money could. It wasn't just about wealth anymore, it was about trust, loyalty, and the truth buried beneath layers of comfort. In the glittering chaos of Lagos, where dreams were made and broken in a heartbeat, Adewale realized some tests reveal more than answers, they expose the heart's coldest corners. Adewale vanished from his mansion. He shaved off his beard. He wore a torn agbada and old slippers. He dusted ash on his skin until the mirror barely knew his face. The rich man of Lagos had become a nameless beggar. One hot afternoon, he sat by the roadside near Balegan Market, bowl in hand. The sun beat down relentlessly, making the busy streets shimmer with heat and dust. Traders shouted their prices, children darted between stalls, and the scent of fried plantain mixed with fresh fish filled the air. Jennifer passed by. Adewale's voice cracked as he called out softly, "My daughter, can you spare something for an old man?" She stopped abruptly, her eyes narrowing as she looked him up and down, the ragged clothes, the dirt-smudged face, the hollow eyes. A frown creased her perfect forehead. "Go away, old man. You people are everywhere these days." Without another glance, she turned and walked on, her heels clicking sharply on the pavement. Adewale's heart sank, but before he could lower his bowl, a gentle voice interrupted the harshness of the moment. "Eat, my son." It was Mama Folake, the plantain seller known for her bright wrapper and warm smile that had comforted many in the neighborhood. She moved with a grace that belied her humble trade, and her eyes sparkled with kindness untouched by wealth or status. With a soft smile, she placed a plate of steaming jollof rice and a bottle of water in his hands. The rich red sauce glistened under the sun, and the aroma was a promise of comfort and care. "Not all riches are in gold," she said quietly, brushing a strand of gray hair from her face. "Kindness is also wealth." Adewale looked up, meeting her eyes that saw him not as a beggar, but as a man. For the first time in days, a flicker of hope warmed the corners of his weary heart. Days later, Adewale followed Jennifer quietly. At a small restaurant tucked away from the busy streets, she laughed freely with a friend, her voice light but sharp. "I can't suffer with a man who has lost everything," she said, swirling the drink in her hand. "I need someone who can take care of me." Adewale's chapter is closed. Her words pierced him like a blade, cutting through the fragile hope he'd been holding onto. Each syllable echoed in his mind, louder than the city's noise. Bobaton's warning came rushing back, "A test can break the tester, if the heart is not ready." Adewale stood there, invisible among the crowd, feeling the weight of that truth settle heavy on his shoulders. A month passed. Then, Lagos woke to a new headline: Adewale returns stronger than ever. Rumors swirled through the city like wildfire. Some said he had struck a major deal abroad, others whispered of secret investors and bold gambles that had paid off. To celebrate, Adewale threw a grand party in his mansion. Lights twinkled like stars, music pulsed through every room, and the air was thick with champagne and excitement. Jennifer arrived in a stunning red gown, her smile perfectly practiced, as if nothing had happened, as if the past month had been a distant, meaningless shadow. When the music stopped and the room hushed, Adewale stepped forward, his voice steady and clear. "My friends," he began, "life is like the masquerade. You cannot know the true dancer until the mask is removed." He paused, letting the words sink in, then told the story of his disguise, of the cold streets where he had begged, of the insults that stung deeper than poverty, and of the one woman, Mama Folake, who showed kindness when he had nothing left to give. Then his gaze shifted to Jennifer, sharp and unyielding. "When I begged for food, you pushed me away. When you thought my wealth was gone, you abandoned me. You did not fail me as a wife, you failed yourself as a human being." The room fell silent, the weight of his words hanging heavy like the Lagos heat. The hall went silent, the air thick with tension and disbelief. Faces that had smiled moments before now looked on in stunned surprise. Then, with a calm but commanding voice, Adewale called out, "Mama Folake, please, come forward." A gentle murmur spread as the humble plantain seller, wrapped in her bright cloth, stepped into the glow of the chandelier light. Her eyes, wide with shock, soon filled with tears. Adewale smiled warmly. "Mama Folake, your kindness will not be forgotten. Today, I give you a house and a shop in your name." A wave of applause erupted from the guests, some cheering, others wiping tears away. The room was filled with a new kind of respect, one born not from wealth but from heart. Mama Folek's hands trembled as she accepted the keys, her smile radiant and full of gratitude. Meanwhile, Jennifer quietly slipped out through the back door, her dreams of riches dissolving into the cool Lagos night. The echo of her footsteps was soft but heavy, a reminder that wealth built on false foundations never lasts. Outside, the city carried on, the same hum of motorbikes, the scent of roasted corn in the air, but for Adewale, the masquerade was over, and the true dance of life had just begun. And so, the elders remind us, a wife who only dances when the drums of wealth beat, is not a partner, but a guest in your home. She comes and goes with the rhythm of fortune, her footsteps light when gold fills the pot, but silent when the fire burns low. True partnership, they say, is found in the quiet moments, in the hunger and the fullness, the storms and the calm. It is in standing together when the lights dim and the music fades, in sharing sweat and tears as much as laughter and celebration. Because wealth is fleeting, but loyalty is timeless. In the heart of Lagos, where stories of love and loss weave through the bustling streets, this lesson remains as true as the sun that rises each morning. A love tied only to riches is like a leaf in the wind, beautiful, but easily torn away. Choose the partner who dances even when the drums are silent. Adewale's story teaches us that true love isn't about wealth or status, it's about who stays by your side when everything else disappears. In a city as vibrant and unpredictable as Lagos, loyalty and kindness shine brighter than any fortune. Remember, the real test of love is what happens when the masks come off. Subscribe and like message. If you enjoyed this story, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more inspiring African tales and life lessons. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss a new video. Thanks for watching.